more entertainment news, and 17's entertainment expert Rick Bentley is joining me for these next couple stories because we've been talking about these for a couple weeks now.
Oh, finally.
Finally, right? Yeah. You've been giving us several previews heading into the Oscars as award season kicked off. Yep. Now it's here on Sunday. They're rolling out the red carpet. So we wanted to hear from you quickly. What do you think are the big picks for Sunday?
Yeah, I think what it's going to come down to, and again, I was up till late last night trying to figure out who's going to win because there have been controversies and the award shows didn't go the way they expected. I really feel like Anora's going to walk away with the big three, which would be the Best Picture, Best Actress for Mickey Madison, and then Best Director for Sean Baker. And if Sean wins, all the directors are first-time nominees, so no matter who wins in that group, it's going to be a first-time nominee winning Best Director, which will continue a trend that's gone through for the last 5 years.
Oh, really? That's a fun fact.
Yeah. So, so it bodes well for a first-time director.
It does indeed.
It does.
And so those are your big picks for the Oscars, of course. But I had other entertainment news that I wanted to get your opinion on. Okay. We have Disney, of course, taking over the Marvel universe. We've seen all of the movies now. And so with that, we're hearing that there will be, for the first time in over 2 decades, a DC and Marvel joining forces for a major crossover event. Since Marvel was purchased by Disney, many comic book fans had assumed that a mashup wasn't going to happen again.
Right.
But apparently there's an announcement at Comics Pro Retailer Summit in California recently changing that. Both major publishers saying they will print a 2-part crossover. That's all we know for now, but apparently we're going to learn a lot more at Comic-Con in San Diego. Yeah,
which is coming up in June. So basically this is something they've done before. In the 70s, they did the first Superman versus Spider-Man comic book, and then about 30 years ago, comic books were in real trouble, so they did another DC versus Marvel mashup. They've even had a single run with X-Men and Teen Titans. I think comic books are in trouble right now because a major distributor has gone bankrupt. This pending tariff with Canada. A lot of the comic books are printed in Canada, and so that may rise the price of it. So I think they really have to do something to get people really interested in comics. And sort of the failings of recent comic book movies, that's what sparked that big rush a few years ago when Iron Man and the Avengers were hot. People were buying comics. Yeah. Now that those movies are dying off, they're not buying comics as much.
Interesting. So I really appreciate your insight on that because I just thought, a crossover, that's cool. There's so much more behind it than that.
Yeah. There's a lot of thinking. It's not just, wouldn't this be cute?
Right.
No, and again, it always comes down to, I remember the Superman, Spider-Man, it ended in a draw because you didn't want one beating the other. And then I always thought, Superman should have won.
Right? Come on.
That's so stupid. They should have gone that way. So.
Okay, so with that, we're now going to transition into our regular Friday segment. We always talk about Rick's reviews, and you see the latest hot movie at the box office. What did you go and check out last night?
I saw Last Breath.
Okay.
And I can put my review in one word.
Okay.
Why?
Oh, okay.
Why make this movie?
Why?
Okay, the movie is based on a true event that happened in 2012 of a deep sea diver. I mean, these are the guys who go down 1,000 meters to work on the pipelines, whose cord, which brought in his oxygen and his electricity and communication, snaps, and he's dropped to the bottom of the ocean. There was a documentary made in 2019 about this. It's a really good documentary directed by Alex Parkinson. So now move forward, we've made a feature film based on that documentary that is also directed by Alex Parkinson. And so the question I have is, the documentary covered everything. Why do we need to make a feature film out of that? The documentary did a good enough job. You're not going to suddenly change it when the diver's cord breaks. Aquaman saves him or something. You can't change this. It's based on a true story. The problem again with this is 2/3 of the movie is a setup. It really feels like a documentary that he took his sort of the blueprint from his original documentary. It's like, here's how you get down the ocean. Here's how the time you spend in the blah blah blah. And we get to the final act where the cord breaks. I don't want to talk about what happens after that because it's really the big spoiler for the whole movie.
Right.
But if you've ever seen a movie with a cliffhanger like it, you kind of know what's going to happen.
You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, and if you've seen the documentary, you definitely know what's going to happen. So it ends up being, it's not bad. Woody Harrelson is okay. He gets one emotional moment. There's not a lot of character development, but the story's kind of intriguing. It's enough to get a C+ for me, but not much more than that.
Okay. If you haven't seen the documentary, like I have it on my list, but who has time, is it worth seeing the motion picture, or would you just stick with the documentary no matter what?
I would certainly find the documentary, and it's going to pop up everywhere. I would not pay to see Last Breath. Don't hold your breath waiting for Last Breath. It's going to surface somewhere on streaming pretty quickly.
There you go. Rick, you're so funny. I love the puns. All right, we are going to meet you back here on Monday to talk about your Oscar predictions and what actually comes true on Sunday, because we know it's been a weird award season.
Yeah, see how badly I did.
I think you did.
But you know what? I predicted the Razzies. I knew that Madam Web would be the worst film of the year.
You did, and so the Razzies have awarded it as such.
Yep.
Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you Monday.
All right.
We'll be right back with your Pet of the Week.